What if the next big world power is not in Europe or Asia, but growing quietly in West Africa? Right now, a small country called Burkina Faso is making big moves. And leading this change is a young soldier, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. He's only 36 years old and had no political experience. But today, he is changing his country's future.
My fellow Africans, today we make history. We are launching the biggest irrigation project our continent has ever seen, not just for Burkina Faso, but for all of Africa.
Most people don't know about him, but what he's doing is very bold and maybe even dangerous. Burkina Faso has had a hard past. It faced poverty, violence, and many problems. But Traoré is trying to build something new. He wants his country to stand strong without help from old powers. He's building nuclear energy plants, factories to clean gold, pipelines for fuel, and even making cashew wine to sell. He wants his people to own their resources and make money from them, not give it all away. He is cutting ties with countries that used to control Africa's economy. Instead, he's looking for new partners. He's doing it quietly, but with big goals. Many people think he's taking big risks, but Traoré believes it's the only way to make his country strong. If his plan works, Burkina Faso could become a new leader in Africa and show other countries how to take back control. Stay with us because one of his biggest secrets might surprise you, and it could change not just his country, but all of Africa. Who is Ibrahim Traoré? He is a 36-year-old army captain who took control of Burkina Faso in 2022, when the country was facing its worst problems: constant terror attacks, poverty, and foreign control over its natural resources. But Traoré didn't rise for power or fame. He said his mission was simple: to save the nation. At that time, the country was falling apart. The economy was shrinking fast. Most of the country's gold was owned by foreign companies, not the people. There were even fuel shortages, making daily life hard. Traoré didn't come in wearing fancy suits or giving long speeches. People saw him in his army uniform, walking the streets, with dust still on his boots. That made him different. It made people believe he was one of them. At first, the world only saw his military side. He was fighting terrorists and shaking up the government. But behind the scenes, Traoré was planning something much bigger. Something most people never expected from a young soldier. While others focused on war, he was thinking about gold, oil, and energy. He wanted to change how his country makes money and who really controls it. But can a soldier with no experience in business or economics really build a strong, rich future for his people? It all began with one bold move that shocked many world powers. So what was the first step Traoré took that challenged the global system and put Burkina Faso on a new path? Get ready. The answer will surprise you. In October 2023, Ibrahim Traoré made a move that shocked many people. He signed a deal with Russia's Rosatom, a big nuclear company. The goal? To build Burkina Faso's first nuclear power plant. This kind of deal was unheard of in West Africa. A country that often struggles to keep the lights on was now planning to build a nuclear plant? Many people thought it was crazy. Others called it genius. The plan is big. The deal is expected to be final by mid-2025. This would start Burkina Faso's first civilian nuclear program, meant to give the country its own power. Not just for a few years, but for decades to come. Some experts criticized the idea. They said the country had no experience with nuclear energy. They worried about the cost, the safety, and the politics. But others saw something bigger, a new kind of independence. For years, Burkina Faso has had to rely on outside countries to give or sell it energy. But Traoré didn't want to depend on anyone anymore. He believed that energy is power, and nuclear energy could make the country stronger, economically and politically. Still, one big question remained. How can a country that struggles to power homes now build nuclear reactors? This deal wasn't just about energy. It was about economic freedom. Traoré wanted to stop foreign control over the country's key needs. The nuclear plant was just the first step in his plan to take back control. But he didn't stop there. After energy, Traoré started looking at other major industries, like gold, farming, and fuel. So what were these other industries, and how did he begin to take them back? Let's find out. After signing the nuclear deal, Ibrahim Traoré didn't stop. He took his bold plan even further. The next big step: gold and farming, two of Burkina Faso's most important industries. First, Traoré made a powerful move. He nationalized gold. That means the government, not foreign companies, would now control more of the country's gold. Then he opened a 150-ton gold refinery. For the first time ever, Burkina Faso could refine its own gold inside the country. No more sending it overseas. No more middlemen. This was huge. For years, foreign companies made big profits from Burkina Faso's gold while locals saw little benefit. Traoré's change meant more jobs, more control, and more money staying in the country. Then came cashews. In 2025, Traoré helped launch a new cashew factory. But this wasn't just about snacks. The plant produces juice, vinegar, wine, and even alcohol, all from cashews. Before this, farmers made only cents selling raw nuts. Now they're part of a growing homegrown industry. This new industrial shift gave hope to many people, especially young workers and farmers who finally saw a future beyond just survival. But not everyone was happy. Some foreign companies pushed back. They didn't like losing control over gold or seeing local businesses grow stronger. Some even threatened to leave the country. But Traoré didn't back down. He stood firm. His message was clear. Burkina Faso will no longer be owned by outsiders. Still, people asked, is this enough? Can these changes really break the country free from foreign influence? Traoré had one more card to play. While the world focused on his gold and factories, he was making big moves on the global stage. So what were these geopolitical plays? And how is he changing Africa's place in the world? Stay with us. On January 29th, 2025, something historic happened. Burkina Faso, along with Mali and Niger, officially left ECOWAS, West Africa's main political and economic group. It was a big move that shocked many leaders across the continent. But this wasn't the end. It was the start of something new. The three countries formed a new group called the Alliance of Sahel States, AES. It's more than just a name. It's a plan for the future. They're working on a shared army, a shared currency, and open borders. Together, they want to control their own land, money, and decisions, without needing approval from foreign powers or old systems. Critics said this might bring instability or more problems. But Traoré and his team believe the opposite. They say this is the only way Africa can stand on its own, by trusting itself and building from within. The surprise? Instead of becoming isolated, Burkina Faso is now more connected, just with different partners. This is regional power, not global dependency. Even more surprising, they're already making plans for a shared passport, one currency, and a new economic zone that could rewrite how trade works in the Sahel. But the big question remains. Now that Traoré has regional unity, what's his next move? He says he wants full fuel independence. No more relying on foreign oil companies or imported gas. So, how does a landlocked nation plan to control its own fuel future? To take control of fuel, Traoré's government made a bold move. They bought part of Ghana's Tema oil port. This gave Burkina Faso direct access to fuel imports. No more depending on other countries or middlemen. At home, they built new storage tanks and fuel centers, so fuel can be stored and moved safely within the country. This lowers costs, builds bigger reserves, and protects the country from fuel shortages. But this isn't just about fuel. This move is part of a bigger plan. Something deeper. Economic freedom in every area. From gold to cashews. From power plants to pipelines. Traoré is building a system where Burkina Faso owns what it needs. A man once known only as a soldier is now creating an economy with long-term power. But what's the real strategy pulling all of this together? The truth is, Traoré isn't just building factories, he's building a whole new African model. One where wealth is created, refined, and kept inside the continent. Every move, nuclear power, gold refineries, fuel deals, leads to one goal: economic freedom from foreign grip. He's not chasing headlines. He's building quietly. An Africa-first system built on strategy, not noise. Because real power doesn't shout. It moves steadily, beneath the surface. A young captain, with dust still on his boots, is reshaping the destiny of millions. Not with speeches, but with solid systems. Now you see, Africa's richest future may be rising, silently. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's legacy won't just be written in politics, but in pipelines, plants, and people's lives. This is proof that when leadership serves, it transforms. If this changed how you see Africa's future, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who still underestimates the continent. And tell us in the comments, what's the boldest move you think Traoré has made so far?
You will hear about the African Union. Yes, it exists. But what is the effect of the African Union in reality? We cannot talk about integration in the theme and not talk about the African Union. Because it is this organization that should unite us, create real integration. But we regret to see these wars that persist on the African continent, killing millions of young people. And that this organization, which has heads of state, with armies, is unable to organize itself to support certain countries. The Union is not just a word. The Union is a symbol. And we, the youth, should learn a lesson from this situation to unite, to make integration a reality.